No one saw this coming. Just as D4VD's name was starting to pop up everywhere for his music, a completely different headline began spreading online, and this time, it had nothing to do with a new song or a viral moment. Instead, it centered around someone close to him, a friend, a well-known streamer, and an arrest that instantly raised questions nobody was ready to answer. Because when a key witness suddenly ends up behind bars, people start wondering what's really happening behind the scenes. And according to reports, this wasn't a random situation or a minor misunderstanding. It was tied to a much bigger case, one that's been quietly building, pulling in witnesses, former associates, and now attention from far beyond the courtroom. And this was only the beginning. Neo Langston isn't just some random name that popped up out of nowhere. He's a well-known streamer with a solid following online, and more importantly, he's been publicly linked to D4VD as someone in his inner circle. Fans have seen them interact, collaborate, and move in the same spaces, which is why his name instantly caught attention when reports started circulating. According to multiple reports, Neo was expected to appear in court as a witness connected to an ongoing grand jury investigation. But when the date came, he never showed. That single absence changed everything. Authorities say a warrant was issued soon after, and not long after that, Neo was reportedly booked into jail. What made it even more serious is that he's allegedly being held without bond, a detail that immediately raised eyebrows and fueled online speculation. And as shocking as that sounds, it only opens the door to an even bigger question. Why was his testimony so important in the first place? This is where the situation takes a sharp turn. According to officials, Neo wasn't arrested during some random stop or unrelated incident. Reports claim it happened because he failed to appear in court as a witness when he was legally required to. Once he didn't show up, a warrant was issued, and that set everything in motion. No public confrontation, no warning shots online, just a quiet legal move that suddenly put him behind bars. What's making people pause is what came next. Authorities reportedly decided to hold him without bond, meaning he couldn't just post bail and walk out. That detail alone suggests the court is taking this extremely seriously. When a witness is treated this way, it usually means their role in the case isn't minor. And with a grand jury already hearing testimony from multiple people, Neo's absence didn't just slow things down. It may have made things far more intense. And that leads straight into why this case has so much pressure riding on it. Neo's arrest isn't just a headline on its own. It's a signal that the investigation has reached a critical stage. Reports say several witnesses have already appeared before the grand jury, including someone who used to manage D4VD on tour. That detail matters because it suggests prosecutors aren't just scratching the surface. They're digging into personal relationships, professional ties, and the inner workings of the artist's circle. Every testimony adds another layer, and every missing witness creates even more urgency. That's why Neo's failure to appear stands out. When prosecutors push this hard for testimony, it usually means they believe each voice could shift the direction of the case. And with jurors reportedly following the lead of Los Angeles County prosecutors, the focus seems to be narrowing, not drifting away. Because at the center of all this isn't just a missed court date. It's a much more serious allegation that could change everything for D4VD. At the heart of all this is a case that's far more serious than anyone wants to believe. According to reports, Los Angeles County prosecutors are pushing for an indictment tied to the death of a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It's been said that investigators believe D4VD was involved in what led up to her death, which is why his name continues to surface as the grand jury hears more testimony. This isn't a rumor that popped up overnight. It's a situation that's been quietly building as more witnesses are brought in. TMZ has reported that the singer, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, is likely to face serious charges connected to the case. That wording alone has sent shockwaves through fans online, especially since no formal charges have been announced yet. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes this moment so tense. Because as more people are called to testify, the line between speculation and reality starts to feel thinner. And what happens next could define the rest of his career. With a case this serious, separating what's confirmed from what's being said online becomes crucial. Here's what's known. A grand jury is actively hearing testimony, multiple witnesses have already appeared, and prosecutors are reportedly pushing for an indictment. Neo's arrest for failing to appear is also a documented legal move, not speculation. Those are the solid facts that have been publicly reported so far. Everything beyond that lives in a more uncertain space. Reports claim investigators believe D4VD played a role in events surrounding the teen's death, but no official charges have been filed. Online, fans and critics alike have been filling in the gaps with theories, timelines, and assumptions, but those remain unverified. It's been said that prosecutors are building a case piece by piece, and until the grand jury reaches a decision, nothing is legally confirmed. And that gray area is exactly what keeps the pressure mounting, because the next development could push this story in a completely new direction. Right now, everything hinges on what happens behind closed doors. The grand jury is still in session, and their decision will likely determine whether this case moves forward or stalls entirely. Reports suggest prosecutors are continuing to line up witnesses, which raises questions about whether Neo's testimony is still expected, and if so, what information he may be holding on to. When someone is detained without bond in a situation like this, it often signals that the court wants cooperation, not delays. At the same time, all eyes remain on D4VD. If an indictment does come down, it could instantly shift the conversation from speculation to legal reality. If it doesn't, the fallout from months of rumors could still leave lasting damage. Either way, the silence won't last forever. And whatever decision comes next won't just affect the courtroom. It could reshape how the public sees everyone involved. What makes this story so unsettling isn't just the headlines. It's how many unanswered questions are still hanging in the air. A rising artist, a teenage life lost, a close friend suddenly behind bars for missing court, and a grand jury quietly deciding what comes next. None of these pieces exist on their own anymore. They're all connected, and the outcome of one could change the fate of the others overnight. For now, everything sits in limbo. Careers, reputations, and lives are waiting on decisions that haven't been made public yet. And until they are, the speculation will keep growing, the pressure will keep building, and the truth will remain just out of reach. Because when cases like this finally break into the open, they rarely end the way anyone expects.